Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of James and Chris's science videos, where today we're going to look at the 7 characteristics of life. So, to start with, it came from scientists that wanted to describe if things were alive or not. And so they came to look at organisms and came up with ways that we can check to see if it is alive or not. So, what kind of things did they look at? Well, they came up with 7 characteristics, of which we'll go through each one now. The first one is movement. They decided that living things would be able to move independently. That means they don't require something to move them, they can move themselves. So it could be muscles, it could be using growth of cells like plants do in order to bend and move towards the sunlight. They need to show evidence that they can move in some way. The second key part of living organisms is respiration. That is the ability to turn glucose or a fuel and add oxygen to it and provide energy. Every living thing would require energy in order to live. So it's working out how it can gain energy. Third bit is sensitivity. Sensitivity is its ability to detect things. It could be like us with eyes seeing things. It could be like the plants where they know when to start to grow. Germination happens in seeds in a certain time of year. How do they know that? They must be able to sense something. So the third thing we're looking at living organisms is sensitivity. The fourth one is growth. They've got to start off small and get bigger. There must be a way by which they can grow in size. Number 5 is reproduction. It needs to be able to produce copies of itself or with another one of its own species combined together to make a new version of the species. We call that sexual reproduction, where we get half the information from mum, half the information of dad, and we get something entirely unique and new. The 6th one is excretion. Excretion is the body getting rid of waste that it has used. It's not to be confused with egestion, which is the body getting rid of things it hasn't used. Excretion in humans would be breathing out carbon dioxide or sweating or releasing urine of those. It wouldn't be producing feces because those you haven't actually used, that's passed through your body. That would be called egestion. But excretion is getting rid of things. So for humans it might be carbon dioxide, for plants in the daytime it would be oxygen. Very useful for us. The last thing is nutrition. It needs to have a fuel source of some kind. And each different organism does that in a slightly different way. So let's look at those again. Well, if you look at all the letters, there's an M, an R, an S, a G, an R, an E, and an N. So a good way of remembering this, a nice way that teachers get us to remember this, is to put them down as a mnemonic. So you spells out M-R-S, Mrs, and then G-R-E-N, Mrs. GREN. Some people prefer Mr. GRENs, some people prefer Mrs. Nerg. I don't mind. Whatever it takes to remember. Now, to be alive, the living thing needs to have all 7 of those. Now, here's an example. I'm going to put a table onto your screen. On this table, we're going to have 4 columns. The first of the column is going to be the 7 characteristics of life. So here we've got movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, nutrition, all the way down to the first column. The next column we're going to have me. I'm assuming I'm alive. I probably was when I made this. I'm then going to have this table as my 3rd column. And finally, I'm going to have my car, which, alas, is not a Ferrari, it's a Renault. But we'll use that as our example. So let's go through the list on each one, and we'll tick and cross. So we start with movement. Am I able to move independently? Yes, I am. I can move independently. So that's a big tick for me. The table, alas, can't move itself independently, so I'm stuck with a table here. It will not move. My car will move. My car, if I put the pedal down, it has the power to move itself. It's not me moving the car, it's the car with the petrol engine moving it. So that has got a tick next to movement. Respiration. Am I at this moment taking in oxygen, combining with glucose to create energy for me to move? Well, yes I am. So respiration is definitely happening. The table, again, is not producing any energy of any kind, and therefore it is not happening. A car though, a car is producing energy. It takes petrol, it takes oxygen, it combines the 2 together to create energy, and you can feel that in the heat, you can see that in the movement, you can hear it in the sound. Sensitivity is the ability to sense things, so seeing or hearing or touch, or any other kind of way where I can sense my surroundings, of which is happening to me right now. I can see the camera in front of me, I can see the brilliant camera person behind it. So all of that I can see and do. The table, however, has got no idea of what's going on. It's just sitting there and doesn't know what's happening. The car, well, my car being a very exciting Renault, does do lots of things. For example, when it gets dark, the lights turn on. I don't turn them on. It must have a way of sensing it. So again, a tick for my car. It's looking good for my car. My car might be alive. Let's look at the next one. Growth. Now, I'm not going to embarrass myself by putting pictures of me as a baby, but needless to say, once upon a time I was this big, and now I'm this big. So I have grown. The table though, the table's probably shrunk if anything by the time I've burnt things and sandpapered it and done all kinds of things. So this is probably reduced in size. It definitely hasn't grown since the day it was made. My car, I wish this was true. You buy baby cars, you put it in the garage, and then 3 years later your car's grown to an adult and you can drive it. I think that would be lovely, wouldn't it? But no, alas, my car has always been the same size, so a car does not grow. Reproduction. Human species are able to reproduce. I have 2 lovely children, so yes, that's a tick for me. The table, wouldn't it be wonderful? I want a new table. What I need to do is put 2 tables together and the next day I've got baby tables. Wonderful. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Tables cannot reproduce. Cars. Again, wouldn't this be wonderful? If I wanted, I could park my Renault next to a Ferrari, and the next day I would have a Renault-Ferrari mix. Little baby in my garage. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen. So I'm stuck with just my Renault. It cannot reproduce. Excretion, getting rid of things. Right now I'm breathing, so I'm excreting. The table is doing absolutely nothing. That would be a cross. Does a car excrete? Well, at the back it's got an exhaust pipe. Out to the back of that exhaust pipe it's coming lots of gases. Cars do excrete. Nutrition. Some kind of energy source. I had breakfast this morning. I had a massive great pancake. It was very nice. The table I don't need to feed. But the car every month, that's optimistic, every week I need to fill up with petrol. So that in itself has a form of nutrition. So if we look at this, we look down this table, I'm alive because I've got all 7. The car isn't because it's only got 5. Whereas the table clearly isn't, that's got none of the characteristics of a living thing. It is not alive until it's got all 7. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.